Everybody seeing the agenda? Okay,
I can, Jean.
thanks. I just made it small so it all fit in one screen.
Well, I see that because our logo and our save the date, it's all different, right? You had to do that for the screen size.
Yep, so I can fit it right
You're
on.
unmuted, buddy.
Okay,
You're on.
because everybody
You're
knows
unmuted.
it is the SKA meeting. Doesn't say that at the top.
There you go.
I will call it so that it does say Siesta Key Association agenda for December the 9th. And we are now beginning. So I want to welcome everybody that is here. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Very good. Okay, great. And I see folks have been added. So this will be our final meeting of the year. And we do have the sheriff coming on to meet us in about another 3 or 4 minutes. He should be calling in or joining us by Zoom. And we'll have some reports from him. And before we get started with him, does anyone have any questions about the form of the meeting today or anything about how to do things before we get started? Or housekeeping things?
I will just tell everybody that I've muted them and I will ask them to unmute when they talk. But right now, Catherine and Mark and myself are the only ones that aren't muted.
Okay, great. So how many have joined us, Jean? What do you see?
Let's see, I had a count earlier. Quite a bit. I'm up to like 30, quite a bit, 36 right now.
Wonderful.
growing.
Okay.
And
Good to
growing.
know. All right. So if as soon as you see Sheriff Eric Smith coming in, would you go
here,
ahead?
Catherine.
Is he there? There he is. Oh, thank you. And
Hey
you're
there.
right on duty and on schedule. Thank you so much for joining us, Sergeant Smith.
Hey, no problem. Glad to be here.
Well, we'll let you get started then because I think everybody has begun to listen and we're all on mute so we can take your message.
That sounds good. As you can see, I'm joining you from my car today, so hopefully you can see me okay and hear me okay.
Yes.
And I'm going to try to tab a little back and forth between a couple things here. Hopefully I don't disappear for too long. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I just wanted to look over at some of our stats for the month. And in November, we had about 345 calls for service out here at Siesta Key. And last month, we had about 9% were the part 1 crimes that I talk about, the burglaries, the thefts, auto thefts, and things of that nature. Out of that 9%, we had about 9 of them happen over one weekend, November 13th through the 15th. We were able to develop suspects in those cases. And most of them, if not all of them, I believe, came from Manatee County, came down here over the weekend and kind of had a little bit of a crime spree. We've arrested several of them and charges are pending on the other ones. And then over, I don't know the exact date it happened, but there was over another weekend, one night, we had multiple juvenile offenders come out and stole a bunch of golf carts. And they were driving around. I don't know if people had heard. I know a couple of people were involved with it. They were driving on the beach. They took a couple of them off the key. We've developed suspects in all those. And if charges haven't been filed yet or arrests haven't been made, they will be coming shortly. We did have some vehicle burglaries. All of them, with the exception of one, were all unlocked vehicles. So again, I'm going to make my spiel that please lock your cars, hide your valuables. The one that was locked, it wasn't a vehicle burglary, it was just a vehicle burglary attempt, because once they found the door was locked, the alarm sounded and nothing was taken. Entry to the car wasn't made just because the car was locked. So I can't stress that enough, how important it is to lock your cars at night or lock your cars wherever you go. That's about it for the stats for the month of November, but I will like to open it up. I know it's a little different format here, but if anybody does have any questions, feel free. Catherine, yeah, go ahead.
I think I'm not muted, correct?
I
Correct.
can hear you.
I'll take advantage of that for the moment. Are there areas on the key that these were involved in that you would tell us about? The areas that seem to be most frequently of concern to you?
I have I'm looking at it now. I have a map, kind of a crude map of where all the incidents took place at. It's very difficult to pinpoint one exact location. I know a lot of the golf carts were taken down around the village and around from some of the rentals that people have, you know, and they rent golf carts for the weekend. But I think the majority of it from the map that I'm looking at, it looks like, you know, the crime was fairly evenly spread out, with the exception of that one weekend and that one incident with the several juveniles. We're really not far off from what we normally are.
It is, with all the kids that came that one weekend, where were they predominantly active? What part of the key?
You know, I don't know that off the top of my head. I can find that out for you.
Okay, great. It might be helpful just to keep people alerted with school going to be out very soon, and
Yeah.
and just keeping neighborhood watches active and people, their lights on and aware. That might be really helpful.
One thing that we had happen to us a few days ago, a young man, well-dressed, came to our door with a box full of candy bars, telling us that he's trying to start a business, and he asked us for either buy the candy or give a donation. Now, we've never had that before, and perhaps, you know, he was in earnest, but my neighbor next door warned us that this is one way that people sort of case your home. So I have decided to let my dogs loose while I'm away, and I got 2 signs warning them of cameras and dogs that I'm affixing to the front and the back of our house where our dock area is. So I don't know if any of you had any of this, but this is the first time, and I've been here for 10 years, that I've seen anything like that. And by the way, getting into our house is not exactly easy. All right, so someone really made it an effort to find our front door.
Yeah, you know, we're coming into season, and we're in season, and with that, and the more people, it attracts, you know, some of those traveling, you know, scam / burglary theft groups that'll show up, and it's not specific just to the Key. I mean, it happens all over the county, happens all over the state, all over the United States. Whenever you get more people coming, and you'll start seeing some of those door-to-door salesmen, and like you said, you know, there are a lot of them that are legitimate, and they're just trying to make a living, but also, you know, you have to be aware and be vigilant.
Key coalition thing, because I don't see anything else that looks like it.
And you have to be vigilant and protecting yourself from people coming up and trying to case your house, or a distraction type burglary or distraction theft, where they'll talk to you at the front door. If you're home alone, they'll keep your attention, and in the meantime, their partner's sneaking around back and you know, stealing stuff from your house. So it's just, you know, you have to stay vigilant with those things. If you have strangers at your house, if you have people walking around that you're not familiar with, and they make you uneasy, call us. That's what we're here for. Call us. We'll come out and check them out, see if they're okay. We'll get their ID, run them, and see if they are legit, and you know, and ask them to leave if it's private property and you don't want them there.
Anyone else have any other questions for Sergeant Smith?